So I have three very solid reasons why I'm going to double down on the XDC network. Number one, the cost to mint NFTs on that platform are virtually free. Number two, thanks to Impel, the ISO and stablecoin ecosystems are going to merge. That's going to be very massive. And number three is the big daddy, the $30 trillion trade finance problem that XDC is in a perfect position to solve. My name is Wade Teamer, and I don't invest in any crypto project without doing my due diligence. So, if you're interested in XDC, or if you're already holding and you want an idea of what is going on and how this all works together, this is the video for you. Let's jump right into it. I put NFTs as number one because of the level of severity of the use case, if that makes sense. Now, like I mentioned, you can mint up to 100,000 NFTs on XDC in one transaction, and it only costs you $1. They're able to do this because, just like Ethereum, they have their own set of token standards. The XRC 721 is the token standard for the XDC network. And with that, NFTs on the XDC network are also EVM compatible. So if you build an NFT project on XDC and you want to migrate over to Ethereum to, let's say, pull in a more audience, then it would be very easy. And then you could easily migrate back to XDC. That's going to be very important for scaling NFT projects on the platform. Now, with all of those technical features in place, you got to ask yourself the question, what's being built with it? Well, in February of last year, some of you may remember this, DC United, the Major League Soccer team out of Washington, D.C., signed a 3-year deal with the XDC network. And in the press release, the president of business operations, Ms. Danita Johnson, spoke how working with XDC would see a brand new fan engagement experience. It would also bring a fan token program, as well as an innovative video platform, which sounds pretty cool. I think Veracity might be interested in that one. Now, a month later, XDC unveils the Origin protocol, and this Origin protocol has a very interesting use case. Origin allows you to issue, create, and manage XDC token standards. So, if you want to launch an NFT or a regular token on the XDC chain, enterprises can go through Origin, and the process will be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Now, here's what I found interesting. In the press release for Origin, they mentioned how Origin could be used by an enterprise or a business to create a loyalty rewards or fan token program. Now, although nothing has come out yet from DC United and XDC about said program, DC United is getting ready to host the MLS All-Star Game in July at their home field. And there is a scheduled week of events centered around fan engagement, fan prizes, things like that. So, if you were going to announce a brand new application, that would be the perfect time to do it. So, that's what's coming from the NFTs on the sports entertainment side. This relationship that they established in January of 2023, though, is going to bring the NFT into the world of trade finance. So we're talking about Prime Numbers. Prime Numbers is an NFT platform that has already existed on the XDC network. However, in January, they partnered with Impel. And what that means is that now, not only will Impel's tools integrate into the Prime Port NFT marketplace, making the NFT transactions ISO compatible. That's very interesting. But the Prime Numbers platform is also going to be a new borrowing and lending setup, which, when you're talking about trade finance, is very important. Since we talked about Impel, that brings us to the second reason: ISO and stablecoins. And when it comes to stablecoins, the first stablecoin on the XDC network actually dropped in December of 2021. And this was given to us by Stasis. Now, if you watch the stablecoin agenda video, you know Stasis is a very big player when it comes to stablecoins in the European market. And when discussing the arrival of the stablecoin to XDC, Billy Sebel, head of ecosystem development for XDC, stated that bringing the EURS stablecoin to the XDC network would provide a safe and stable alternative for trade financing. After the Euro stablecoin, we move over into Comtech Gold, the CGO token. What you can do essentially through Comtech is deposit your physical gold and in exchange get a dollar denominated stablecoin for your deposit. In September of 2022, they received a Shahara certification. And in Islamic finance, that's one of the highest level certs you can have to basically verify your deposits. A month after that, they did the same thing in Dubai. Through the DMCC, they were able to not only get another place to deposit their gold and store in their vaults, which will be stored in UAE registered vaults. This will also see the CGO token embedded into the DMCC's regulated trading platform. Now you have a regulated ecosystem where people can come and buy fractional shares of gold, and it's going to get a lot better. Now, Comtech Gold, they're specialized in gold. However, their infrastructure, their system can be tailored for any sort of precious metal. And that's what they did with Globians. In January, Globians and Comtech Gold signed the deal. And now you will see not only Comtech's gold offering, but now, thanks to Globians, you have a silver offering. And it's the same setup. This silver, this real silver, the token will be backed by real silver, and your deposits will be insured, verified in these regulated vaults. So when it comes to Comtech Gold, there's a discussion about finding alternative ways to back currencies outside of the dollar. All right. We're not going to get into what Russia and China just did this week. That's a whole different video. But I do want to bring your attention back to Globians. Like I said, it is a juggernaut. Globians provides banking and crypto services, centralized and decentralized marketplaces, payment gateways, staking, and most importantly, stablecoins. Since 2020, Globians has launched five dollar-backed stablecoins on the XDC network: the Singapore dollar, the Great British pound, the euro, the Hong Kong dollar, and USD. And here's where I really started to see the synergy of the XDC ecosystem at full force. Rewind a few months back to July of last year, Impel and Globians. They signed a memorandum of understanding. And if you've been keeping up to this point, you'll realize that whenever Impel shows up, they're bringing the ISO tool. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Through a memorandum of understanding, Globians will make use of Impel's ISO tool in all of their products. So that means that any transaction running through Globians is ISO compatible. Another major relationship that Impel has forged when it comes to transactions ISO is WadsPay. Now, WadsPay is an interoperability platform that focuses on microtransactions and remittances. Their core work, though, is connecting CBDCs, stablecoins, and other crypto ecosystems. And of course, wherever Impel goes, ISO is going to follow. And they signed a relationship. This was January of 2022, and it will see Impel's ISO tool incorporated into the WadsPay token, as well as WadsPay broader infrastructure. And the thing about WadsPay is that they've been around since about 2018. They were founded in Singapore, but they serve the Southeast Asian region, South Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. All very high value markets, especially when it comes to trade finance. And after that, we get to October of last year, and it brings us the Fluent Finance US Plus stablecoin. Before the US Plus stablecoin came to XDC, Fluent was already incorporating it into US banks, smaller US banks. And now, thanks to Fluent and Impel, the banks that are already running the US Plus stablecoin can easily integrate with the XDC's network. Currently, they are running a testnet program called Apothem, where small US banks are testing ISO messaging standards. And I think the timing of that is also beautiful, with the rest of the world's banks also testing the same thing. I think that would explain that pump on the 20th, in my opinion. But lastly, when it comes to stablecoins, and this one is a bit more recent, we're talking about February of this year, Fathom launching the FXD stablecoin on the XDC network. This is a setup that's going to be a little bit similar to Prime Numbers in the sense that Fathom is going to build out a borrowing and lending service where you can earn and use XDC or real world assets, but you can use the FXD stablecoin as a form of collateral. So now you have two instances on the XDC network where stablecoins can be used in place of fiat for trade finance funding. And again, that's addressing the biggest problem. Since we mentioned trade finance at least 3 times in the last 60 seconds, let's jump into number 3. So we've heard it thousands of times. XDC is built for trade finance. It is the number one blockchain to solve that problem. In 2020, we got Andre Casterman, the former Swift executive who worked in trade finance in Swift, coming over to the XDC network, to the Zenfin organization, and becoming a top level advisor. I say top level because prior to this, he was also on the fintech committee for the ITFA, which is the International Trade and Forfeiting Association that we often see the XDC network associated with. Well, here's the reason why. With him being a chair on that board, he was able to create the Trade Finance Distribution Initiative, another group of trade finance companies that he put XDC right in front of, ladies and gentlemen. Now, on top of that, XDC Network was brought into the Blockchain Supply Chain Association. And when I did my research on the Belt and Road, I'm pretty sure that organization is a very pivotal player. Outside of that, even though the branding for the XDC network, they've updated their website, everything looks sleek and streamlined now. You have to remember that the organization that created the XDC network in the beginning is still Zenfin, and they are still hiring. A few months back, they hired a brand new chief operating officer in the form of Sunil Sampati. And in one of his original interviews, he stated how teams at XDC are working actively with the governments of the United Kingdom and Singapore to push forth the MLETR initiative. Now, it was foreign to me when I first read it, so I know it's foreign to you. Essentially, if Ripple is waiting on the SEC to get off their back to get regulatory clarity here in the United States, and IOTA is essentially waiting for the MiCA legislation to hit the road in Europe, XDC needs the MLETR to be mainstream. And once that happens, hey, sky's the limit. But let me break down the MLETR. It's the model law on electronic transferable records. It's a United Nations program that was started in 2017. They simply want to enable the use of electronic or digital trade documents. It supports the use of emerging tech such as DLTs, blockchains, IoT, and smart contracts, and is currently being seen as the key enabler for the trade finance transition, digital trade finance transition. Now, so far, we've only had 3 nations adopt the MLETR fully. That's Bahrain, the Abu Dhabi Global Market, and Singapore. But we also have the UK, the United Kingdom, and their electronic trades documents bill, which in essence is the exact same thing as the MLETR. It is just tailored more so to UK companies under English law. So, with that, Andre Casterman also mentioned in an interview with Block Data that the XDC network was a part of the Digital Negotiable Instruments Group, which is a subset that is supporting the UK Electronic Trade Documents Bill. So, again, even though the adoption is in its early stages, XDC network is right there. They're at every post, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in December of last year, the ITFA unveiled the Electronic Payments Framework. This is essentially a uniform set of rules that will help trade finance companies align with the MLETR as well as the UK Electronic Trades Bill. And additionally, France has now announced that they plan on digitizing their trade market as well. Now, lastly, I got one more for you. The integration with XDC and security. This one brings their protection layer to the United States because securrency has been around since 2015. Their primary markets are the United States, the UK, Europe, and the Middle East. High value markets, yet again. But here's what securrency brings that no other project has been able to do yet. It's the securities, the regulated security protection. Thanks to the integration with XDC, Securrency is going to be building a digital asset composer, which is essentially a no-code platform similar to the Origin protocol that allows enterprises and institutions to create any type of asset they want on the XDC network. But here's the bonus. Through Securrency and their regulated structure, any asset built on XDC is regulated in all of those jurisdictions, including the United States. Now, the reason why I emphasize that is because we know there's a whole lot of talk about securities and here in the United States and the SEC, Ripple, all of that jazz, right? Well, if you come to me and ask, is XDC a security? I'm pointing you to securrency, all right? Because anything that comes from securrency in collaboration with XDC is covered because securrency is covered. So there's that. Now, that was all of my reasons. Again, NFTs, ISO, and stablecoins, and then the trade finance problem. This is an issue that has not been touched in hundreds of years. And blockchain technology, DLT technology comes along, and there's only one project that is solving it. Instead of investing in one part of the use case, you invest in the entire utility. That's what XDC is. It's the entire utility. So, with all that, I'm done talking now. I hope you guys get it. That's my reasoning. That's why I'm doubling down. I just bought some more before I hit record on this video because it makes sense to me. All right. And I don't fully go into, first of all, I don't spend my money on something that I don't fully understand. Again, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. As always, I'm Wade Teamer, and you know what the motto is. If that money is digital, so is the hustle. I'll see you in the next video.